Okay, so Alien Earth, a new series, and the big headline is, well, it's right there in the title. Earth.
Bringing the xenomorphs to Earth, yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's a fundamental shift.
It really is. We've seen it in comics, maybe, but not in the main film timeline. How does that change things, putting them on our turf?
Well, so much of Alien relies on that isolation, doesn't it? Deep space, stranded crews. Earth is familiar, vulnerable in a completely different way. It makes you rethink the whole power dynamic.
And the timing. 2120, that's just, what, 2 years before the original Alien film?
Exactly. 2 years before the Nostromo incident, it feels deliberate.
So, could this be where we find out how Weyland-Yutani knew about the creature before Ripley and crew ever encountered it?
It seems perfectly placed for that, doesn't it? We might actually see the acquisition event or whatever happened that put Special Order 937 into motion. It could add this whole layer of like tragic inevitability to the Nostromo's mission.
Right, knowing what's coming for them.
And think about the information, what they knew, what they maybe covered up in those 2 years.
Plus, the world itself sounds different. 5 mega corporations basically running things. Prodigy, Weyland-Yutani, Lynch Dynamic, Threshold.
Yeah, forget nations, it's corporate power blocks.
How did that change the game when aliens show up? It's not just humanity united against a threat.
No, not at all. You introduce something like the xenomorph or its biology or related tech, instantly it's the ultimate prize.
So corporate espionage, sabotage,
Yeah.
racing to grab specimens.
You have to imagine so. Weyland-Yutani won't be the only player wanting that edge. It could make the whole situation even more dangerous, these giants fighting over the scraps or the main prize.
And it all kicks off with a crash landing. A mysterious ship hits Earth. Classic setup.
It's the catalyst, yeah. Where did it come from? What's actually on board? Why did it crash? All those questions fueled the start.
And the investigation team? A young woman and tactical soldiers? Another familiar dynamic.
It gives you the boots on the ground perspective. You've got the trained force, but maybe the civilian, the young woman, she sees things differently, brings a different skill set. Their dynamic will probably be our way into the story.
But the pressure on them,
Mm.
discovering this threat, their actions could, well, decide Earth's future. That's huge.
Planetary stakes right from the start. It's not just contain the outbreak on the ship or the colony anymore. It's Earth. Their first moves, how they handle it, if they even understand what they're handling, incredibly high pressure.
The teasers have been interesting. That shot of Earth reflected in the xenomorph dome.
Yeah, with the tagline, in the year 2120, Mother Earth waits.
Chilling. It flips the script. Earth is the target now, the host.
Makes it feel almost preordained, like Earth's number was up. Less random encounter, more like destiny calling. Sets a grim tone.
Then there was another one, a smaller creature,
Yeah.
escaping a ship that looked a bit like the Nostromo.
It looked very insectoid, yeah. And the ship having that Nostromo vibe,
Yeah.
that's definitely intentional.
So maybe that's how it starts. Not a full-grown xenomorph, but something smaller, maybe adapting.
Could be. It suggests maybe an earlier stage, or just how easily things can spiral. One small breach on a ship, crash lands, and suddenly you've got an infestation vector on Earth. It raises questions about what form the creature takes initially in this setting.
And those black box kits sent to fans, with the cat's point of view video.
Very clever marketing. Watching it all unfold through a cat's eyes. Seeing the eggs, a version of Special Order 937 popping up on a screen, the initial panic.
It pulls you right in. What does using that kind of immersive stuff suggest?
It shows they want fans deeply invested, building that suspense, and grounding it with things like the eggs and the Special Order. It reinforces those connections to the original. The corporate angle is still there.
There was also that trailer scene with Morrow, the Weyland-Yutani employee. Possibly synthetic.
Yeah, sitting calmly in a Mythor-like room, getting a crew dead message while someone's getting attacked just outside the window.
And the ship, the USCSS Maginot, is heading straight for Earth because navigation's shot and cargo containment failed. Sounds like the setup for the crash.
That scene feels key. Morrow's detachment, if they are synthetic. It hints at maybe corporate knowledge, or even that this wasn't entirely accidental. The parallels to the Nostromo are pretty stark. History repeating, maybe.
And visually, they're going for that retro future look, like the first film.
The Ridley Scott aesthetic, yeah. That worn-in analog feel mixed with high-tech.
Why stick with that look?
It just works so well for Alien. It grounds the tech, makes it feel tangible, fallible. It enhances that vulnerability, you know? Even with advanced ships, things feel like they could break down physically, mechanically. It connects visually to the core of the franchise.
And thematically. Sounds like we're revisiting humanity's arrogance, AI dangers, Stuff from the earlier films?
Those themes are still potent. Our tendency to underestimate nature or ancient threats, and the whole question of artificial intelligence, its control, its potential, they still resonate because, well, they're still relevant anxieties.
Okay, let's talk about Wind, the transhuman character. Human mind, synthetic body, superpowers. That got people talking.
It did. There was definite concern, would this suddenly become Blade Runner meets Alien? A synthetic rebellion story taking focus away from the xenomorph horror.
Is that a valid worry? Shifting the focus too much?
It's a potential pitfall. Introduce someone superpowered, and it can change the dynamic. How do you keep the xenomorph terrifying if you have a character who can go toe-to-toe in a different way? It's about balance.
But you mentioned more recent visuals maybe suggest something less extreme.
Yeah, sometimes early descriptions or concept art can be misleading. Later glimpses seem to show Wind fitting in more with the established aesthetic, maybe less overtly superhero. It suggests they might be integrating the character more carefully, keeping the Xeno front and center.
And the xenomorph itself. Looks like practical effects are getting some love in the trailers.
Which is always good news for fans of the original feel, that tangible presence matters.
And the design. Someone mentioned it looks a bit like the runner from Alien 3, maybe with a greenish tint.
There are echoes of that, yeah. More agile, animalistic. The greenish hue could just be lighting the environment, but the runner design suggests maybe a focus on speed, adaptation to the Earth environment. Different kind of threat than the classic warrior or drone.
So, Alien Earth could answer big questions. How the creature got to LV-426, how Weyland-Yutani knew. But how do you do that without killing the mystery? The original thrived on the unknown.
That's the tightrope walk, isn't it? Explain too much, and the magic, the terror, diminishes. Maybe the key is to focus on the consequences of its arrival on Earth, the corporate race, the immediate human story, rather than giving us a full, definitive Xenomorph 101 lesson that spoils the enigma.
And the corporate angle feels bigger than ever here. Megacore acting like countries.
Their pursuit of tech, of this alien life, it's going to drive so much of the human conflict, you'd think. It adds that layer of commentary. Unchecked corporate power, profit over safety, classic alien themes, but maybe amplified.
So, in space, no one can hear you scream becomes what? On Earth, everyone can hear you scream, but the corporations might not care.
Something like that. The horror changes. It's not just isolation. It's your home being invaded. It's familiar places becoming deadly. It could be a more pervasive kind of dread, the horror next door, potentially.
Definitely a lot to think about. What does the xenomorph on Earth really mean for the lore? Can they pull off this blend of new ideas and classic horror? And yeah, in this corporate-run future, is the alien the only monster? Lots to chew on before Alien Earth arrives.